Ballinabricky train station, the front of it is actually pretty nondescript. There's not a whole lot going on there. I had to do some serious modification of this building over time because my intention had been to take one of the train control boxes and build it into the roof of the building before I realized just how big those control boxes are, and there was no way to make that happen. So when I designed the building, I left what I thought was going to be enough space under the floor, and that didn't work so well either. So the part of this building that's really interesting is actually the back end with the platform. Okay, and by this time in 1936, the Great Southern Railroads was what was servicing Tipperary. And any of you who are into old movies will notice that this side of the building, aside from the fact that the platform is elevated, because I couldn't have a sunken track like they have in the movie, this is to some degree the train station from The Quiet Man. And I've replicated the cast of The Quiet Man, including some of our train crew and whatnot. Many of them are still on the train, which is not here at the moment. So here is our platform. Okay, and all of this. Now I know the inside of the building does not conform to the way the train station is in the movie, but that's okay because you really only get to see it ever so briefly, and I planned on making more extensive use of it. I did eventually take apart the control box and managed to cut down some of the pieces and get it built into this, but I had to raise the entire thing by one course of bricks. So this right here is where you plug in the AC adapter. And under the station here, this is where the clips go, all nice and hidden like, for run the wire through this groove, right, to the track immediately on the other side here, and then the track can run through this way. I have to test this out a little bit. I'm thinking that I may have to allow for this wire to be run out the side, only because I don't really want to leave that much space. So we'll have to see. But for the time being, I just had it so that I could hook it up and test it to make sure that it worked, at least in principle, that I hadn't so damaged the innards of the control box that it no longer functioned, because I really had to do a butcher job on it to get it in there. But it does work. I did test it out, and it does work. And you use the controls through here. Just remove this little piece, and here is your wheel, and you can turn it one way or the other to get the forward and the reverse. Not the most convenient way to do it, but the reality is the only time my train is ever hooked up is when it runs around the Christmas tree. So it's really not that big of an issue for me. This one, the swinging wall was so big that it was unstable because of how long it was. This is about as long as the church. So I had to make it open butterfly style like this. Okay. We'll take a little look inside first before I do that. So let me remove the roof, which is usually more cooperative than this. There we go. Okay, so inside the station we have the waiting area. Okay, and we have our ticket sales here. Okay, and you can get in and out of there that way. Okay, and then we have the office back here, right, where we have the safe, currently housing nothing. There's 3 desks and lots of vintage maps and advertisements. I'll try to give you a look at that. And I did construct this so that the roof of the platform comes off in one one neat piece as well. So here we have our platform. Okay, so let's open these up. So let's see here. We have a couple maps, some of which left over from the Great Southern and Western Railroad period, before it was combined into the Great Southern Railroad and then the Great Southern Railroads at some point later. Yes, I had to do a lot of Irish train history in order to do this here, because I wanted to make sure it was accurate for 1936. And these are all real GSR advertisements to come and see Ireland and, go see Kilkenny, various places around Ireland. Okay, coach tours, all that good stuff. So here we are, in Ireland, for bracing air and glorious sunshine, Great Southern Railways. And I know there's no way you're going to make this out. Well, maybe you are. There we go. All right, so in The Quiet Man, they mentioned, that there's the Dublin train, and I got the route for Great Southern Railways that ran through this general vicinity. Ballinabrickie sits several miles west of Cashel. There is no town there, but it is a real place. So I figured out where Ballinabrickie would come on the Great Southern Railway's schedule of the time, and then we have our schedule boards. So basically the train runs from Cork to Dublin and back twice a day is what that breaks down to. So that is the train station. Happy travels.